Hello again, everybody. Mouse in the Falls here. Just thought I'd share a little updates on progress today. I managed to get the motor in. It's not mounted yet, but I got the general idea where it's going to go. I had to remove my battery that was sitting here, so I'll probably be redoing them wires, or I might put the battery back. Don't know yet. My original throttle cable is long enough. I don't have to use this one off the Predator engine. That would have been a little bit of a pain in the butt to set up, being way down there, so I don't have to worry about that lever. It's not the way it's not being used. Choke lever will still be used. Key switch will still be used. And I got the transmission in here as an idea of where it's going to go. The straps are temporary, obviously, but in general, this is what I'm looking at. There's the shift levers for it. This will be the output side right here. I'll be changing that little arm thing and putting a different piece on there, so I can put a sprocket on it. Then I have to get one for the axle. I also have to make brackets of sorts to maybe raise that a little higher. Because that's not too far from the axle itself. Also, I'm going to unbolt the oil cooler, which is right here, this piece. And I'm going to swing it off to the side over here. So if you understand anything about heat going upwards, that'll help in cooling off the oil. And I have a lovely little hole right there I can do that with. I'll make a mounting point for that bolt that holds it, and it'll stay secure. This side, we have the input to the transmission. I have a splined coupler that'll fit on that nicely. I still have to set up some sort of shift linkage for it, so I get my forward, neutral, reverse, and first, second, and third. There's the exhaust on the motor, obviously. Got that from mudskipper.com. Fits the 22 horse Predator nicely. It's also 670cc, if we forgot. I still have to put the torque converter on here, but by the looks of things, I have plenty of room to do so. I had to add spacer tubing underneath the motor in order to raise it up high enough for the piece of exhaust to clear the frame right here, and also to keep the wires off that little snubber, and the cover of the motor on the other side was hitting the frame underneath, so that's what them spacers are for there. I have to do some more trimming to get those in the proper spots, then get them mounted. So far so good. I don't think I need to move my seats at all in order to get my gas tanks in here. Plus I still got the upper frame to build for that. Before, I was using this little makeshift lever for the forward, neutral, reverse on the golf cart rear end. Straight up would have been the neutral, and then I forget which way was which, but one was forward, one was reverse. Just a simple little brake light switch from a motorcycle. You got one wire going to your lights, the other wire going to the battery, and this is normally closed. Wait, no, normally open, so in a rest position like this, your brake lights are off. But as soon as you push on the pedal, you see it pulls a little pin out, that makes contact, so it closes the circuit, and your brake lights come on. And I got the spring in there just for the pressure relief so I don't rip things apart, attached to the brake pedal, but this is going to get redone. I'm going to find a better setup for it or a different position. Now with the plastics off here, you can see what I did. Temporary little frame, just for holding the steering wheel here. My tack weld eventually broke, which was right there. That was due from all the vibration off the motor. That's 6.5 horse. And now you can see what I've done up front for my steering. Bolt the things to the frame. Kept the golf cart steering shaft because it works. Got a couple of universal joints for steering components here. This is one individual piece, and this one's an individual piece. There's the nut that connects them in the middle. Actually works real good. Now I kept the steering component from the golf cart. I just had to modify it a little to get it to fit in there. Sorry about that. I ended up using U-bolts. On a piece of square tube and welded some tabs to it. That way I could mount it to the frame. Had to notch the square tube out so the bottom of the little steering box would fit. And just a simple drag link. All golf cart components right now. This piece was for a mud flap idea, to attach it on there so the mud flap would rotate with the tire when I turned. But that didn't work out very well. It's my castle nuts on the tie rod ends there aren't very strong, but they're not backing out of the holes either. And on this side, I had to use hose clamps to keep that piece of metal straight. But that's going to get redone, so it'll quit rubbing on the tire. Golf cart suspension on the front. Thinking about redoing this, using ATV A-arms, then remount things so I have brakes up in the front, be disc brakes. I'll have to get some adapters for those hubs to do that. Makes their different stud spacing. My winch that's on here. Got a bolt in the top right here. There's another one down below it. Just nice aluminum plates on the back right here. the tubing that's in the middle that you see on here, it's steel. So that created the perfect point to put the winch on there. This plate, that holds the plow. I just put a bolt through the bottom all the way through, put a nut on there, and the plow's mounted. This is also set up so I can take this off if I want. I might do that and just redo it. Don't know yet. I got these arms on here for the lights. The LED driving lights work nicely on this. The left side light's a little banged up, you could say, or scratched up, because I had someone not paying attention come out of a parking lot and actually hit me with their front bumper. The only damage I got was this arm was bent a little bit. The tire marks on the lights. And then down here, bent up the angle iron just a little. The front of this has never really been secure. It's just there for form factor, you know, for the plastics that was on it. Needless to say, the person that hit me, they ended up having to replace their front bumper. Tore the crap out of the corner of it pretty good, and this thing survived. No issues at all with the steering afterwards. Never had any before. Outside of putting the motor in there and seeing where things fit, I've been playing with my throttle control, kind of redoing things. Before, the throttle cable was pulled from the bottom side and looped back to the motor. But with the new setup, I have to do it different, so it pulls the cable with the pedal. So, I cut a notch in the pedal. Come on, focus. Damn you. That phone's been disturbing. Well, anywho's, after I cut that notch in there, there we go, I'd attach a temporary support that'll get strengthened up. So far, the throttle idea works. Right here, this switch was for the headlights. So when you turn it on, it lights up, say they're on, turn it off. This switch is a two-way toggle switch. So I have the provisions to put turn signals on. You got power going in, left side, right side, and same thing on the light switch. I just used inline splicers like this. So you got power going in, got to ground that one so the light will come on, and then when it's on, power to the lights. The other switch, that's for the winch control. So you got your two wires running up to the winch. These are the power ones coming into the middle. This is a two-way toggle switch you find on power mirrors on a semi-truck. So I have it wired. Push up, the winch comes in. Let go and it springs back to center and turns off. Push down and the winch goes out and lets the plow down. I'm going to redo the wiring on here so it's a little simpler. These two connectors went straight to the battery for the winch control. Kind of a dirty way to do things, but it was quick and simple. So far the battery's just a little 12 volt 18 amp hour sealed lead acid. This battery's shot, so I've been keeping a little solar panel on there. And the fact I run LEDs, that battery might last another 5 years. But for this motor, I'm going to get a fresh battery, just so that way it's got enough electric to roll over and start. I'm thinking about redoing the fuel filter on here, move that to a different location, maybe pull the cover off and move that little fuel pump that's in there to a different spot. I don't know, I'll have to see how things go. So that's it for now. Stay safe, have fun out there, enjoy your projects, teach others, and I'll catch you on the next one. Mouse in the Falls signing off for now.